Hi guys, welcome back. This is Sean from Play by Pause. Do you ever wonder, is it possible to tender your camera screen wirelessly in a more budget-friendly way and at the same time do a screen recording through your smart devices at the same time? Today, I have an answer for that. So this is the CineEye 2 from Accsoon. It's a wireless video transmitter. I'm pretty excited with it because I never owned a wireless transmitter before. So let's do a quick unbox. So in the box itself, it comes with a manual book. The device itself, which is very small, and also a shoe mount adapter. So that's pretty much about the unbox, nothing too fancy. Let's talk about this device. It's a very compact device with foldable antennas and has a robust and solid build, and I believe this has a lot to do with the hard metal material. It weighs 213 grams and has a physical dimension of 10.5 x 6.85 x 3 cm, which is smaller than your iPhone 12 Pro or even your Sony mirrorless camera. Even though it's a small device, it comes with an OLED screen, which indicate that the input info, connection status, battery status, and 5G Wi-Fi channel. Below the screen, you may find 3 buttons that control the setting, which I'm going to tell you about later. At the side of the device, you will find one HDMI input and one HDMI output, which means now you can loop the signal of your device input to another monitor. Behind the device, you may find the L series battery. You can use the Sony L series battery to operate CineEye 2, which is extremely versatile for me because I can use battery of varying size depending on the project requirements. Personally, I prefer the smaller size battery because the size is much more minimalist. The other side of the device, we have power switch, a USB-C that allows you to connect to the cameras and control variety of features, and lastly, the DC power output. Lastly, it has a 1/4-inch mounting hole at the bottom of the device. As for our setup, it's supremely straightforward. First off, you have to connect both devices together. I'm using a HDMI cable to a micro HDMI cable. So HDMI to a micro HDMI to my A7 III. Next, turn on both devices. Something to keep in mind, remember to turn on your HDMI output from your camera, and you're good with the first setups. Next, download the Accsoon app and connect to the Wi-Fi signal. Then look for the CineEye 2 at the top handle and click the monitor below to connect. The CineEye 2 will automatically find a clean channel before the transmission starts. However, you are able to select your preferred channel manually as well. Another thing you can play around with the setup is the data rate settings, which you can adjust on the unit. There are 3 different modes you can choose from. The first is the high quality modes, which prioritize the quality of the image that is sent from your camera to your smart device. Second, the normal mode is the default setting, which is balanced between transfer data rates and the quality. Lastly, the speed mode, which prioritizes the transmission speed. So what exactly CineEye 2 offers? Even though it comes with a very compact design, yet it can simultaneously transmit up to 180p 60 frames per second from the HDMI source to 4 iOS or Android devices such as tablets or smartphones. So now you can use a combination of devices as long as you aren't using more than 4. In the Accsoon app, you can monitor and tweak quite a lot of things. At the bottom of the apps is the main settings, where you can see most of the stuff such as changing your video to gray, RGB color, histogram, waveform, focus picking, and if you slide to the right, there's even more settings, adding your own LUTs, zebra, force color, marker, anamorphic desqueeze, grid, and audio level. All of these settings are pretty much customizable and sufficient for most of the filmmakers. As for performance, since it's a wireless transmitter, one of the concerns would be the transmission range. The Accsoon CineEye 2 have a claim range of 150 meters or 500 feet. To prove that, let's do some tests. Something to keep in mind, all tests were used in an auto Wi-Fi channel. For the first test, I chose the high quality data rate and I filmed at an indoor buildings, and it seems to perform pretty well until I'm out of sight. And the signal freezes at around 40 meters. Next up, in the same settings, I filmed an outdoor area with some buildings around me. It performed pretty stable until 60 to 70 meters and it starts to freeze. especially when I'm out of sight. I wasn't sure why I couldn't reach the 100-meter range even though the CineEye 2 is supposed to be able to reach 150 meter. So for the last test, I filmed at the street and I decided to film with 3 different data rate settings. The high quality freeze at around 50 to 60 meter. Surprisingly, the normal mode managed to reach around 90 meter, which is good. So now I would expect the speed mode to reach 150 meter, since this mode is supposed to prioritize the transmission data rate. And unfortunately, it freezes around 90 to 100 meter. Honestly, I didn't plan to use the CineEye 2 for 100 meter kind of projects. I would most likely use it for a studio or even a closer projects. So I'm pretty okay with the transmission range. However, if you are looking for a more professional project that involve a lot of faster movement or even inconsistent distance between your transmitter and the camera, then I wouldn't suggest the CineEye 2. The next concern would be the latency. There's no surprise that a wireless transmitter has the latency issue, but how bad it is? Based on the paper, the CineEye 2 have a latency of 0.06 seconds. Previously, I do not own any wireless transmitter, but to me it looks pretty good. One thing for sure is, I don't think it's a great product if you use it for a pull focus, especially for professional projects. But don't get me wrong, I do believe CineEye 2 is a great product. There's no doubt that it works perfectly as a reference monitor even in a professional projects. In other words, I think it works for me pretty well, and I couldn't complain much about this device, especially when it comes to a low price point when it compares to others. Something I really love about CineEye 2 is not only you can treat it as a reference monitor, you can also record whatever you're looking from a smart device by simply press the right corner buttons. And the best part is it records sound. And this leads to the reason for me getting a CineEye 2, because I want to record the point of view from the camera. In our previous video, how to take low light portrait photography, we used the Atomos Ninja 5 to record our screen so that our audience can see our camera's point of view. The cons of using this setup is huge and bulky. It's not that comfortable, especially when you're turning your camera a lot between portrait and landscape mode. With the CineEye 2, the setup is much smaller and flexible. Now you can easily mount on top of the camera or even mount at the bottom of the camera with some customizations. To me, the CineEye 2 aim primarily at budget filmmakers or those who owns mirrorless camera, or someone like me who prefer minimal setups. To me, I think CineEye 2 is just a great product. It comes with a lower price point when it compares to others. It's solid builds, it works perfectly for what I do. Being said, it's not really a must-have gear for most people, but if you have the same intention like me, I do believe you'll love these products. So there we have it. I hope this video is helpful. If do, remember to like our video and subscribe our channel. And as always, create, learn, and have fun. I'll see you guys in the next video.